And we are off.
underway. Looks like both of them are opting to go to Link's house immediately, so we will not see a Houlihan, it looks like. Looks like both of them are going to the uncle's house, and depending on what they find there, maybe to escape.
Looks like they're going straight on to escape. That is absolutely correct. Bit of a risky play because you may have to leave a lot of chests behind here.
Another possibility is they could just be checking Uncle and the chest down here and going to Kakariko. I really like what the opening, or what the open mode really gives you for routing options, even at the start of the game.
Some early bombs, it's always nice.
And early bombs could very easily negate the option of Houlihan.
Alright, so we may see some different things then. They're actually going to the Sanctuary. I was wondering if they were going to go down to do Hype Cave, not Hype Cave, Moldorm Cave, and maybe the rest of Escape, considering they had the lamp now. But I guess we're gonna go through the Kakariko route.
I agree with this play. You want to typically have a sword or some kind of other permanent weapon before trying to do Escape. You can do it with just bombs, but it's usually not very fun to do.
Same goes for Moldorm Cave.
And for those of you not familiar with what I was referring to by Houlihan, there is a dev room in the game where if you fool the game into thinking you go into a map that doesn't exist, you will wind up in that room. And there's 225 rupees in there, which can help with things such as guaranteeing bottle vendor money. You can have an early Zora check. There's a number of reasons to do it, and it looks like the Lumberjack Hut is not going to have anything required this time.
Right, we just saw a bonus crab check and the tree check, both of which produced magic and hearts, neither of which are terribly useful to the runners.
That full magic, if we find a magic item, could make Mini Moldorm Cave easier.
True.
Doing Mini Moldorm Cave with just bombs is never fun.
10 arrows in the mushroom spot, and ooh, the Ether Medallion.
Ether Medallion, if they can find a sword, will be a very efficient way to take care of Mini Moldorm Cave.
Lamp and Ether Medallion. I'm trying to think what the seed is. So the theme that I like to present for VT26 is what is the seed telling you? Early lamp, early ether, you might want to be thinking about going up towards Death Mountain quicker than you ordinarily would. I mean, it depends on what you get in here, obviously, but especially if you get a hook shot or a hammer and the silver gloves here.
You also would need a flute or a lift upgrade to get up there. But the items that you see in Kakariko will definitely give you some insight as to where to go. And we have an ice rod and flippers and a lift upgrade.
Yeah.
So this seed looks like it will try to throw our runners in all kinds of directions.
This is feeling like an early Turtle Rock seed.
If they find a fire rod, and they would still need a fire rod and a red cane.
And a sword. Obviously.
And of course a sword.
Again, it's lining up that way, and only one crystal in the light world that's up on Hera's Tower. Again, the seed seems to be screaming Death Mountain.
Not just that, but it will be interesting to see how late the book comes, because I find that the more light world dungeons have pendants, the more likely the pedestal could be required. Especially if we have a green pendant at Thieves Town, then you could have almost anything at the pedestal.
Yeah, nothing going on in the well, nothing going on in the bottle vendor so far.
There was a bug net though, that is relevant.
Yeah, it's nice to have, but and Yumi very much wants a sword. You can see by her trying to just whack the B button as much as possible.
More Yume not too happy about getting swindled. Nice chicken clips from both runners.
Yeah, but not great chicken items. They are now out of bombs, but they're right next to the shop. I believe they're both going to go buy some.
So this seed really ended up working out just well enough to get enough bombs for the early game. With the addition of the 2 300 rupee secrets from the Light World and Dark World Great Fairies, the Houlihan strat is a lot less valuable than it was in previous logics.
Nothing going on in the tavern either. So there is no... With this current setup, you're still kind of limited in where you can go. At this point, they'll check the borders and the race, and then I guess I'll head down to Well and Molar Cave, right?
I would definitely go to the dam. The dam is probably your best option.
The dam I meant.
Looks like Leslie is going straight to the race game.
You're gonna do it blind. All right. Yeah, nothing doing there.
I largely think that it's runner preference because it's about the same amount of time either way, as far as on average of whether it's required and you go both ways or you just do it blind. It's on average over the long term will be roughly the same amount of time, and it's largely runner preference.
Oh no, we're gonna get a back of escape check.
This is a good play because when you do go to escape, you can often get insight on whether you can skip Zelda's chest or you can skip the chest in the basement.
It's a helpful escape. No map, no key. So it's very likely that chest in the middle of the escape dark room is not going to be necessary.
But we are still swordless, so I expect to see both of these runners head to the dam.
Yeah, we're on the same route pretty much. Oh, an early book, huh?
I always like to see an early book.
Mm-hmm. At the very least, you can if you get a mirror, you have an easy way to check the Master Sword. Or the pedestal, I should say. And a bottle fairy.
Both of these runners are going to be very happy to find this bottled fairy and will try to hold on to it as long as possible.
Yeah, it actually is. It's a nice safety, especially as you start walking towards Mulder.
You may get crabbed.
Yeah, and that's why it's a nice safety. These crabs deal 2 hearts of damage. They are the most damaging enemies in the Light World overworld.
And Yume realizing that you have no sword to use a medallion, you do actually need a medallion to use, or you do need a sword to use magic medallions because of the animation. I'm sure almost every runner has made that mistake. Yume
with burning her fairy. That's an interesting sprite.
I forget which Toho character Yume is playing as. There are a few of them in the mix. Yume needs to be careful.
You might want to switch back to the ice rod and just be patient. Oh, all right.
It really depends on the runners how are confident with the ice rod. Karaoke in chat saying that Yume is playing as Marissa.
And Mulder Cave, nothing doing. Yume needs to be careful if she wants to head on up to ice rod. Or no, I forgot they had flippers. They're both gonna probably check out under the bridge. Nope. Or again, Yume's heading up to Ice Rod. Yume's gotta be very careful here. A lot of crabs, a lot of 2 hearts, no fairy.
Yume has 5 hearts.
Walk back. Right.
Yume picked up a heart container in in the cave, either a heart piece or the sanctuary heart.
So it's still 3 hits to dead. Probably giving a piece of heart. The library and the ledge, the lumberjack ledge had nothing Ozipone. Just some
nothing in the corner. Nothing in the corner here, and without Zora money, going up to Zora may not be a great idea. It looks like Leslie is.
Leslie still has to check. Leslie still has to check Ice Red.
Oh, Leslie is just checking Ice Red Cave. I wonder if any of them will make the play for the Waterfall of Wishing, because they do have access to that.
Looks like Yume's heading up to Death Mountain.
They're both pretty lucrative calls at this point.
Well, especially if one of these items wind up being Mirror or Hook Shot, then they'd be getting extremely lucrative calls. Although doing Harrow with no real offensive weapon is probably not ideal.
Leslie with the book in hand, maybe heading to Desert.
Yeah, that's also listening to the seed.
This is an interesting call, because with no permanent weapon and no boots, you may not even be able to get access to more than one chest in Desert.
But while you're in Desert, you can check Agina's. You do have the Oh no, Leslie's running for money.
Oh, Leslie's getting Zora money. This is. I like this play.
I don't. I think you can go into Desert because you can also get the ledge at this point. Like there's 2 items sitting out in the Desert. You might be able to get another item or 2 in Desert Palace right now. Those items, one of those items may be 300 rupees. This is a very, very time-consuming and long way to get this money.
I mean, yes, you can go into Desert, and it looks like Leslie is just farming up 100.
Yeah.
Bang. No, what Leslie did was get up to try to set up for a 300 rupee to get up to that 500 threshold to make a Zora check.
That's a good play, actually, yeah. Piece of heart there. Leslie's going to go into Desert Palace. And let's see what happens if there winds up being a big key on the lamp.
Well, Leslie also has Ice Rod and full magic, so we should be able to get to at least the 2 chests on the east side, depending on the position of the small key.
Yeah, but you can get screwed here, where you have the small keys on the torch or something, and then the big key's not in the center chest.
I think it's still worth checking, especially when it's known that in 26, Desert tends to have more valuable items. Desert tends to have progression items. There is the small key.
I don't believe this is a green pendant dungeon, right? This is the blue or red?
Green pendants in Dark World, and Yume may check to see where that is.
Yume checking Satra's closet. Ooh,
and we have a
mirror!
Mirror in Desert. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes Yume to go there. And we have green pendants, Skull Woods. So that means that there are a lot of options for that pedestal. Because we have Desert, we have Eastern Desert and Skull Woods, which means the only items that cannot be at the pedestal are
Fire Rod,
and Bow, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think anything else can be at the pedestal.
Leslie has the big key and kind of just forgot about the big chest. Oh. I don't know why Leslie is passing on the big chest. Oh. Just remember.
She's realizing it. We have Yume going through Eastern, finding
a
sword.
15 minutes in.
I would be pretty happy to find a sword about 15 minutes in.
That's actually pretty average. What? Why did Leslie save and quit?
I am very confused by Leslie saving and quitting there.
I think that Leslie must have not realized that she had the big key. Oh, the torch had the item? We didn't see that? Okay, never mind.
Oh, that makes sense then. I'm sorry, we both missed that. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for both of our competitors to get to the mirror.
Well, one of them at least. We know how long it took Leslie to get to the mirror.
Still looking for that moon pearl. I wouldn't be surprised if it's in Eastern. Great skeleton room from Yume.
I would be surprised if it was in Hera.
If you go to check the old man, you may as well check Eastern.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Especially with a lamp. You can hit everything with the Armos, pretty much.
What do we need for Dark World access? I think at this point, a sword upgrade or a cape would allow them to take Aga 1.
The hammer would allow them just free access with the Moon Pearl. And this still has the potential to be an Aga 1 seed.
If we don't see a cape soon, absolutely.
Or you mean a hammer?
Or a hammer. I meant a hammer. I'm sorry.
See a cape soon, I'm going to be pretty convinced it's an Aga 1.
If we do see a cape, yes. A cape or a sword upgrade. And it looks like Yume has found all of the items in Eastern, so... Where do you head from here? Probably desert.
I would say you head to desert. Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if Yume checks Agana's cave, because there is a good chance that the Moon Pearl is there.
Yeah, and Leslie did not check Agana's cave, which is, again, a little iffy in my mind.
Yume's routing has been slightly better than Leslie's at this point.
Yeah, Leslie had a better gamble, but it's going to get that lead's going to be given away right now. Leslie's heading into Eastern, unless Leslie just gets the sword and leaves, that they're going to take the same amount of time.
I don't foresee Leslie taking the sword and leaving, because it's so risky to just leave a loose square in a very remote portion of the world like this, especially when you don't have when you're still missing the Moon Pearl. Because getting back to Eastern without a flute is very time consuming.
As the runners start going over areas we've already seen, I want to remind you to follow the runners. It's twitch.tv/LesliePro_4 and twitch.tv YumeTsubasaCH. It's also in the chat.
And Yume with the sword from Eastern is going to have a much easier time in a Desert Palace than Leslie did as well.
Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be anything very significant. What's the play here now? Once they're both done checking their respective palaces, you head up towards Hera, I suppose, right?
Or Zora. But
No,
Zora won't be quite as good of an option, and this is one of the reasons why some players favor Houlihan is to get Zora out of the way, because if you count the 500 rupee Zora, there are 4 items in that vicinity.
Just think you can hold off, just because you have a crystal dungeon that might have that last 100 rupees where you don't have to waste time Houlihan. I mean, unless you think that Zora is going to contain, or maybe you do like a half Zora check and you just run into the Waterfall Wishing, see if it has a hook shot or something. Oh, you may getting a fairy for safety.
Oh, this is actually a wonderful play. A lot of people forget about this room. I actually forgot that room even existed.
Who of you will check Agina? No, the bottle vendor was a thief. The bottle vendor gave 20 rupees. Super try boy.
We are getting an Aga check, or not an Aga, Agina check from Yume here. Leslie going into the rupee room in Eastern. We may see a check. We may see a Zora check.
Ooh, and again, Silvers! Silver arrows. That makes things interesting. So the question is, will Leslie check Agina again? Otherwise, this is going to be a big advantage for Yume. Yume heading up to Death Mountain, having the save warp.
I could see Leslie coming back to check Agina for silvers after Meyer. You see a lot of runners do that, especially if they have early Dark World access, but we still don't have any yet.
Yume is definitely going to go do Hera's now. And I believe Leslie Pro as well. Yep, as we thought, the only non-crystal in Dark World is Skullwoods. Yume's going to take a look at the Ether Tablet. Cannot draw from it without the Master Sword. And it's just some bombs.
Just some BAMs.
Boring old bombs.
In the Tower of Hera we go.
2 items here in Tower of Hera. Really big key, but it's always looks nice for not having to do the torch room.
Oh, absolutely, and it'll be interesting if I get to yell at VTorp. The Moon Pearl is still out there, and it could be here.
Might be a vanilla location, actually.
Oh, absolutely, and if it's a vanilla location, I get to yell at VTorp.
Nice. Oh, okay. I didn't quite get the joke. I'm really impressed with Yume's just general execution. I mean, he had a misstep in the Moldworm Cave, and that's about it. Ooh, and some gold
upgrade
gloves, so that will open up. Well, you know, the Moon Pearl.
It doesn't open up anything yet. Doesn't open up anything yet.
Yeah, you need the Moon Pearl.
But once they get a Pearl, they'll have almost unfettered Dark World access. And I would not be surprised to see it here.
I don't believe they can get to Eastern. Well, no, they can swim across. They have flippers.
Aw, no vanilla Moon Pearl location. VTorp is safe. For now.
Pearl on Pyramid. That would be really trolly.
They would need a sword. They would need either a cape or a sword upgrade for the pearl to be on the pyramid. So because we haven't found both the items yet, have we? There's one out there still.
Believe so. Yes. I mean, there's one in there's two locations in this cave in this dungeon and one item, and then of course there's the Zora stuff. Oh, a little bit of troll worm going on. A lot of bit of troll worm going on.
Yume taking a fall. That was a pretty well executed fight up until that point.
What would be the worst place for Pearl to be? I would say at this point, Paradox Cave. Oh, that's a bad fall. That's going to take two levels.
2 floors. Trolldorm just giving Yume the business. But still, this race early on is very, very close. The only advantage that Yume really has are those silver arrows.
Well, now they're almost in sync. Fun fact: there is a fairy bucket in this dungeon if you fall down one of the holes in the north part of the floor below Trolldorm. You know, the floor we're going to see Yume on again.
Yes, there is. I don't think I've ever gone for it, but you can get fairies in here if you fall down the hole in the northwest corner of the 5th floor. You'll fall 4 floors into a fairy room.
Leslie
It's
getting the
just too many
key.
screen transitions.
Oh, the item's going to be either in the middle chest or in the basement.
Really? Nobody checked that middle chest. That's interesting.
I don't
That
believe
chest
so.
is usually quick to check.
But the fact that there's a key makes me think that it's going to be the important item's going to be downstairs. Oh!
Nice save.
Oh, Leslie did check it. I'm sorry, and it must have been nothing. Map.
Man, this Moldorm is really giving Yume a hard time. Takes it down, and is going to get a key. And it's time for Leslie to take a break.
It's the ever exciting tile room.
So it would be interesting if the sword upgrade, if there was a sword upgrade here.
Or a cape.
But there has to be progression soon.
That's the Moon Pearl.
Moon Pearl in the basement.
All right.
So with that, most of the game is open now. I expect to see both of these runners make a beeline for a Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, that's where you're going to get the most items out of, especially since you have Thieves Town just wide open to you.
Village of Outcasts and make the big loop south. But I don't think, based on Leslie's play so far, that we'll see a dip into either Skullwoods or Thieves Town, and even Yume might not be comfortable with it.
Yume has a fairy. They both have fairies. They might jump in.
Yume does have a fairy, but that's still 5 hearts.
Well, it depends on what happens in Village of Outcast itself. Maybe you get a blue mail. Maybe you get a. Though it doesn't help too much against blind. Maybe you get a heart container or 2.
I think if you find defense or a lot of health.
Well, Leslie is going to dip into Skullwoods. I don't disagree with this play. VT26 seems to like Skullwoods now.
It does, but this is a very brave play.
Not really. Once you get into Skullwoods, you can die and not lose too much time. Like this is a rough room, but Leslie
This
executing
and
really well.
This and the statue room can just be awful with low health.
Nothing going on here.
Yume looks like going right to the village, so
Right.
if there's something interesting in Skull Woods...
Oh, you know what? We forgot about Ether.
Ether does help a lot. I always
Yep.
forget about Ether as a combat tool.
There's one item from Skullwoods. It is a shield. Not terribly useful, but I find the shield is almost useless until you get to the mirror shield.
The level 2 shield can be pretty useful for blind.
Right.
Still no item yet.
Blue mail in the Sea House. No, that chest can only ever be a key.
I was just noting in general that chest about Skullwoods in general. But that chest is guaranteed to be a key. There was a logic. I think it was either 20. I think it was maybe 25.
Yeah, you can soft lock.
Where the only way out of that dungeon was a save and quit, and then the developers very intelligently reverted that back to being a guaranteed key.
I believe this is the last chest, unless this is a big key.
A big key or a fire rod.
Yeah. Well, then there's both items for Skullwoods. First item with the chest was the shield.
Let's see what we have.
Big key.
So Leslie can check the big chest at least.
Meanwhile, YumeTsubasa working the thinking game. Thinking game taking its sweet time today. Oh, it's a blue potion.
I am sure Yume is very happy to see Blue Goo. Leslie looking like going the back way in, not comfortable with the bomb jump.
With 5 hearts, you better think you're perfect at it.
Oh, absolutely.
It's try to bomb jump, otherwise you're gonna waste a lot of time.
Bomb jumping in general is not easy, and we have nothing. So Leslie's Skull Woods excursion turned out to be empty. And Yume with the mirror is going to be able to take care of almost all of the big Dark World loop south.
Yeah, looks like Yume's just going to go around the horn. I didn't see. Did Yume check the blacksmith? Oh, and we're going to get a pedestal check.
With the dungeons here, I do not blame Leslie for making this check at all. Because if this is a pedestal seed, it's better to know that as soon as possible so that you can clear all the pendant dungeons on your first go through them. But we are about to get a pedestal check. What is it? What is it? What is it?
Yume's getting a hype cave check as well. It is a sword
upgrade. V-Torp! What is that doing there?
Yeah, literally, it's the Master Sword right now.
And so because one of the sword upgrades is at the pedestal, we could very well see some Master Sword or even Fighter Sword Dark World bosses.
Hype cave is kind of lame cave today.
You may leaving a little present for the thief there.
Yeah.
Yume is probably going to check... Oh, Yume might actually be going up to Zora.
Yeah, Yume has the money now. Do a check of this island first.
Right, because I don't think Yume fake flippered.
Nope.
So this is excellent routing by Yume.
Oh, you may never check the hobo.
And Leslie is going to start the big loop south as well. Probably very pleased to see that blue mail. This seed has been pretty stingy with both love and money.
And items in general, honestly. This has been a difficult seed to start.
Oh, absolutely. Such little health, little defense. We just got blue mail.
And Fire Sword. And one of the sword upgrades is going to be, for all intents and purposes, probably inaccessible. Nothing going on.
Nothing at the Waterfall Ferry, so progression probably at Zora. There aren't a whole lot of other places that Yume can look. You're only guaranteed to get access to one chest in pod.
You might be tempted to go get that heart container with the way your health is right now.
If I were Yume, I certainly would.
Yeah, I would just go get it. You get the flippers already. It's not. You can head back into blind pretty safely at that point.
Is Leslie checking catfish? It's a little early for this.
Leslie's going to do everything. Leslie's going to check catfish and then mirror out to Zora.
Just a life lesson from Zora. Interesting. Where could this progression be?
Could be on catfish.
Pyramid Ledge is another possibility that the chat seems to want.
Hammer
on Pyramid Ledge would be pretty crazy.
Remember, we do have Church Ledge.
Oh, that's a nasty spot, too. That's a spot that I always have trouble routing to.
I don't disagree with Leslie's play here. It's basically you're getting the Zora stuff, but you're also going to get the catfish check.
Now, this is nice routing from Leslie.
Nice rupees, too. They will fill up the blue potion and have 504 left.
Yume's heading to escape. We never had an escape check. Progression
right. Remember, there's only 2 items in escape. I don't know if they spotted
catfish with just some love.
Leslie's about to get swindled.
Leslie's about to get a lot of disappointment. And why banking with the Zora Bank and Trust is a bad idea.
All right, there's the key. There's still a map, so there's a shot that you won't have to go to the dark room. They're looking pretty desperately for a hammer.
We could see a myriad of other things, but a hammer would open up a lot of dungeons.
I mean, I think it would almost every other item would have to lead to the hammer.
Oh, Dark Cocoa had about the same thing in mind that I did. Hammer and Swamp.
Oh, and the map up here too. No, don't leave.
Don't okay.
Don't mirror. Okay. Check out the basement.
I've had Hammer appear in Swamp once. Was not fun.
Leslie wisely getting the heart. Thieves Town can be progression can be in everything but that one chest in Thieves Town. The big chest.
And in the cell we have just some couch cash. So
big 20.
Yume is going to need to go downstairs for the last item. There are definitely a lot of really evil places that the progression item could be. So depending on how buried these progression items are, we might be in for a long night. Leslie going into Thieves Town with that blue mail and more hearts, then this is fine. Oh, another $20 bill in the basement. Yeah. Both of these runners just making
like a disappointing Christmas present from your aunt. Another $20.
All the unfortunate decisions. But Thieves Town at this point is a pretty good play. There are 4 items. I'm sorry.
There are also items in Frog Chest in you can walk into and get the first couple items in Swamp.
There's one chest you can access in Swamp without a hammer.
Right.
The chest on the first floor is guaranteed to be a key, and it's always a key except in major glitches.
2 items in Thieves Town already, both of them $20 bills. Silvers were in Agina's cave. Yume doing a skill wits check. Again, about to be not happy about it.
It's a good play, but just not in this seed. Both of the runners are probably just screaming in their heads, where is this progression?
Not a lot of safety either. No magic powder, no cape, no cane, can't burn.
A lot of bottles though. A lot of bottles.
But again, you gotta kind of plan those.
There are definitely plenty of dungeons where you'd be able to stop to get fairies, and that's something the runners may have to consider.
Thieves Town, unfortunately, not being one of them.
And Skull Woods doesn't have one of those rooms either.
Unless I've miscounted, I believe there are still 2 items left, and there are 3 locations in Thieves Town, and one of them is currently inaccessible. So we need to very much hope that the dungeon chest does not have a map or something. Alright, Leslie heading up to get the maiden. Cane of Burna, that makes this much easier if you can get some magic.
Blind with full magic is pretty free. And doesn't Leslie have blue goo?
Leslie does have blue goo. It's a question of whether you want to use it now. I would say you try first. Maybe you can bullet hell this, and if that fails, then you go ahead and blue goo and Cane of Burna and wrap up.
Oh, absolutely. Of course you try first. Pyramid Ledge is still out there. I think you check Pyramid Ledge before you check Pod, because you won't be able to get very far in Pod.
You kind of gotta walk by the Pyramid Ledge to get to Pod anyway.
Of course.
With the current setup. Leslie might not need it.
Wonderful fight.
Wow, great play.
Wonderful fight.
All right, and the 4th item, so you do not need to check that big chest at least.
Pretty sure Leslie is breathing a big sigh of relief for multiple reasons. And
the hammer has been revealed to be at the Bumper Cave.
So now we're looking for that magic cape, and Yume is going to be checking the graveyard ledge. This could easily have progression as well. The routing in the seed has been really weird.
They both opt to skip the blacksmiths again.
It could be there.
Nope, nothing going on in the graveyard.
So it'll be interesting to see how this long drought has affected both of our runners once they find the progression item. I can imagine neither one of them is feeling very confident about their position in the race right now.
So right now, I'd say that Leslie has a lead.
Not much of one, but definitely a little bit of a lead.
Or Leslie now going back up to get the frog. I don't know why. Maybe you do that because you hope the hammer's in the dig site, so you can double up.
You can't take the frog with you to the digging game.
Right. So I'm saying maybe that's why you do the digging game first.
Yes, you absolutely do the digging game first, and then you take care of the blacksmith and do all the purple chest stuff. You may finding the bad news that Catfish just has a little love.
Oh, when the
Hook
blacksmith
shot.
has the hook shot, that opens up a lot of areas. That will open up Swamp Cave altogether. No, it won't. You need the hammer. That will open up most of East Steph Mountain.
I think you just make a beeline to after doing the lunchbox. I think you just make a beeline for Death Mountain.
Yeah, that's something like 14 chests there.
It's a lot. They've already cleared out Hera and Ether Tablet and.
What's perfect is the hook shot takes you down the southern route.
I want to say 15 items.
You may gonna give a check on the entrance. Nothing
there. So Yume is going to make a beeline to Death Mountain most likely, and that hook shot is going to swing. It's probably going to swing the advantage considerably to Yume's favor.
No, it's Leslie who has the hook shot. Remember,
Yume
has not checked the blacksmith quite yet.
Right. There's so much going on in the seed.
I think Yume is going to be heading to Thieves Town.
Thieves Town is fine.
Oh, sure. You got to do it one way or another. Yume's going to head into Thieves Town and probably do the blacksmith right immediately afterwards. This is one of the rougher seeds I've seen in this tournament.
Oh, absolutely.
What do you think? You check bombos while you're here? Ooh, red mail.
Red mail in the lunchbox. Oh, absolutely. You check bombos here. Just the knowledge is so nice because this is a location that's very hard to get back to.
Piece of heart.
Thing.
Leslie gonna check. Leslie did not go back to check Gina's cave there.
Leslie's gonna route it with Meyer.
Right. Has Leslie checked Hype Cave? No.
This is definitely a difficult seed, but I've certainly seen worse. Matter of fact, last night I was I was with about 3 or 4 other people. We did about a 3-hour mess.
Nothing beats the pedestal seed, as in the seed that you just need to pull the master out of the pedestal to finish. Where a progression item from one of the pendant dungeons was in the validation chest. So you had to do every single dungeon. No, Leslie's riding Anagina's right now.
This is interesting routing. Leslie's going to be very happy to find the silver arrows, but it's not progression. Both of these runners probably looking for a bow to make use of these silver arrows as well. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen boots yet.
Leslie will save him quit up the mountain.
Leslie hoping to see a sword upgrade here as well.
I've never seen that riding before. Where you put the dark rope gate right outside.
That's actually really neat because the cave that you would take is really windy, and you can just go up to the Dark World and then check Spiral Cave after checking Hookshot Cave.
That's some good routing.
But because the path to get up to the bunny chests from the bottom is very winding, so Leslie will check the bunny chests from the upper side, and we have a bow in Death Mountain.
All right, so
that is a big find.
There's a lot less concern about sword upgrades at this point. You making short worker blind.
But I don't think we're going to see Leslie dip into Palace of Darkness until after getting that cape.
Now, I'm not sure. Has Leslie seen that the hammer is on Bumper Cave? I know Yume did.
You're right, Leslie is not.
Fire Rod from Paradox Cave.
Leslie checking the island, and it is just couch cash.
Big 20.
We have Ether to get into T-Rock, which we already have, so if we see...
I'm sorry, did Yume just losing Thieves?
Yume left Thieves Town.
Yume was fighting blind at that moment. Yeah, you may finish blind. Chat got me concerned. They save and quit out for Leslie back to Death Mountain.
Leslie doing the rest of Death Mountain.
Yeah, it's just an interesting route. Let Leslie save and quit back to the mountain, to the cave.
I'm not quite sure why you would want to do that.
I don't know. Maybe a good setup, and you just kind of give away a lot of it. In the mirror, you're literally standing here. Yeah, I don't know.
And Yume finally getting that hook shot from the dwarves. And Yume saving and quitting with the lunchbox. This is good routing considering that the rest of the big loop south is already complete. This does leave the Bombos tablet though. Which we know is junk, but Yume doesn't know that.
We're still keep searching. At this point, we're staring pretty long and hard at dipping into either Pod or Swamp Palace, or maybe having to go pick up the Green Pendant from Skullwoods.
I would go to Pod first. You have a bow. You should be able to access every item in Palace of Darkness except for if the boss has an item.
That is true.
So you're gonna get at least 4, if not 5 items. Leslie back in Escape. Not going to be too happy with what's down here.
Nope. And Yume is going to go get his fire on bow. Or her, I should say.
So we are a red cane away from Turtle Rock access.
That's very true. Well, did we see what was on... It was Ether, right? Yeah, all right.
Yes, it's Ether. It's Ether, so we're just a red cane away. So if they find that red cane, then Turtle Rock becomes an option. And we've seen a lot of progression items in Turtle Rock before. And that's one of those things that makes... Oh, yes, you are correct. Yes, you are correct. We still do need the hammer to even get into Turtle Rock.
Right, yep. So, we're all waiting on the Cape. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you go through Palace of Darkness next.
Still no fast travel at all. No boots, no flute. I mean, neither of these runners can be too happy about hitting the hour mark and still only having 2 crystal dungeons done. Yume with her fire rod. And with that fire rod, it looks like Leslie may be taking a trip to Skull Woods for the green pendant.
Yeah, it might be a useful play.
If you're set on getting that.
No, you know what? Leslie hasn't done Northern Darkhold yet.
True. And then Leslie will get the information that we're looking for the cape. But if you're going to go to Palace of Darkness, there's definitely a school of thought that would consider cleaning out Skull Woods for the green pendant first, so you can go over to Palace of Darkness and turn it in right away.
Yeah. Well, I actually agree with a lot. Leslie did not check the bumper cave.
I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't check Bumper Cave right now.
You just plainly forgot about it.
That's unfortunate for Leslie, because that Bumper Cave could very well turn out to be a loose square. I think this cape's gotta be in Palace of Darkness. I would say that Yume does have a small lead at this point, but whoever finds this cape first is just...
Well, remember, even when Leslie finds a cape, Leslie then needs to think to go to Bumper Cave.
That is true. Yume save and quitting to Sanctuary. We may have a Skullwoods play?
I think that's what's happening here. Well, maybe not, because how else can you get to Palace of Darkness at this point? You have no hammer, so you can't get from the close warp, nor can you get from the southern warp. But this is definitely a Skullwoods play now.
So it'll be interesting to see if this pays off for Leslie or if it pays off for Yume, because both of these plays are very defensible in that it takes a significant amount of time to get through Skull Woods, and it's only for one item.
Well, it's for two items, really, when you factor in the green pendant. There's still an item floating out in Skull Woods.
Oh, there is one item outstanding. So the next decision by these runners could very easily turn the tide of this race.
Well, depending on the luck, really. I think Leslie's making the smarter play, really.
And there was a key, so a lot of this dungeon could have been accessible without a bow, depending on the way the key logic plays out. Usually, though, if you find a key in that first chest, you can get to most of the locations without a bow.
You may be doing a check of the pedestal.
Finding the bad news that we may have a fighter sword for a very long time, and ammo management could be a very important factor in this seed. I love seeing these mimic rooms with silver arrows.
Silver Arrow. Go ahead.
Another interesting item that is still missing, that is not required, but would be nice to see, is half magic.
Yeah. Oh, and the big key over there. Silver Arrows is the one item that hits harder than even the Butter Sword, right?
Yes, the Butter Sword does 8 damage. Silver Arrows do 100 damage.
Provided that they're not immune to a bow.
Absolutely. And the only enemy in the game, other than Ganon, that can tank a Silver Arrow hit is Vitreous, because Vitreous has 128 HP. Mothula trolling Yume quite a bit, not coming down. This is where you might want to consider just swinging that Fire Rod, just to try to get Mothula away from the spikes.
Cane of Sumeria in the big key chest in Palace of Darkness. That will open up. Well, nope, no, it will not, because we're still in a hammer. I thought I was going to say it was open up Turtle Rock.
Yume needs to be careful, down to 1 heart.
Yume has a fairy. That's kind of a waste of a blue potion, unfortunately.
Oh, and only 1 hit away,
only 1 hit away.
And I don't blame you, mate.
Cape! Oh,
Cape
you
from Mothula.
Take a very big lead.
That is a huge find. That is a very rude location for the cape. So Yume making a mad dash out of Skull Woods, going over to that bumper cave almost assuredly to get that hammer and then start knocking out these dungeons.
Alright, so for Go mode, we really just need the flute, don't we? And whatever opens up Mire.
You're correct.
Oh, and a Master Sword, because you can't beat Ganon.
I do like some of the translation or text alteration that VTorp has done. If you actually check the sign outside of Bumper Cave, it will tell you that you need Cape, but not Hookshot. For the Bumper Cave. Because a lot of people don't know that you can clear Bumper Cave without a Hookshot.
You can walk right around that pit.
It's barely possible, but you can do it. You may having some trouble finding that seam between the edge of the pit and the wall.
You may also has a Hookshot. Why don't you just... There we go. And Leslie is going to go finish off Eastern. Leslie does not know where to go at this point.
Haven't we seen all the items out of Eastern Palace?
I don't know. Yeah, Boots and Palace of Darkness.
So the only items... Flute for Go mode is definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Because in this situation, even if you have the flute, whatever area you're in, you still need to clear out all the chests from there, because you won't be able to check the Mire medallion without the flute. And Yume with that hammer is going straight to Palace of Darkness and will have an advantage over Leslie in that only 1 trip needs to be made through the dungeon because of the hammer.
You're gonna see a lot of these dungeons go down very, very quickly, especially since we're in pretty near go mode.
Especially considering that a swamp and ice are still out there, and those dungeons are very, very, very fast in go mode. But with that hammer and that hook shot, that flute can be almost anywhere.
Pretty much. All you do now is you start going through crystal dungeons, and then until something results in the flute. Sarshala has boring old bombs. Yume not happy with the old man.
Yume, you should respect your elders. Armos Knight's giving Leslie a lot of trouble. We have Quake.
So it's not impossible if that's not a progression item.
It's a 1 in 3 chance that that's a progression item.
Yeah. Oh, Leslie's gonna check King's Tomb. And it's a big 20.
So after Yume finds these items in Palace of Darkness, where do you check?
Well, I just you start clearing dungeons. You go. I think you get the swamp next.
Oh, absolutely. Because Swamp has the biggest potential for items.
And after Swamp, you do Turtle Rock even before you do Ice Palace. Just because you still need the flute, you still need the sword upgrade.
Oh, absolutely. Ice.
If you can know that you need nothing out of Ice Palace, that makes that dungeon about 3 times faster.
Oh, absolutely. I try to stay out of ice as long as I can. The first thing that I always pray to before I enter a tournament race is nothing required in Ice Palace.
What's that cost? Ask in chat. Do they need flute to go for go mode? Yes, they must have flute to be able to get to Misery Mire. There's no way to get there otherwise. And Leslie's going to get the cave, so I'm wondering if Leslie's going to listen to the seed and look for the bumper cave right away. That'll close some of this gap.
And Yume with Red Cane. So now Turtle Rock is open. But easily the trickiest part of this seed so far has been the hammer at Bumper Cave. Leslie mowing down those Gibdos with silver arrows.
Remember, you do need a sword upgrade for Gan, but the most likely place for a sword upgrade is probably Gan's Tower. It's annoying to do Ganon's first phase with a blue sword, but with silver arrows, second phase makes it not matter.
It's still 28 spins. But yes, you are correct. We did have hammer at Bumper Cave, and the cape is something Leslie is about to find. Does Leslie not have a potion?
I don't know if Leslie wants to use a potion. Leslie does have a potion. I think Leslie was trying to get some hits in.
I would have waited one more hit before downing that potion.
There we go.
And Leslie finding one of the missing pieces to this puzzle. So now we're really just looking for that flute.
I gotta make sure Leslie actually makes her way to Bumper Cave.
It's right there. There's no reason not to. Have we seen all the items in Palace of Darkness yet?
I don't believe so. I think there's only one on Helma's Sword.
And Leslie did wind up going straight to Bumper Cave and will probably not be happy to find the hammer this late. So if you're Leslie, do you take a gamble here? And go to Turtle Rock first?
I would say no, just because if that backfires, it's going to backfire bad.
Because you're 78 minutes into the seed and you just found the hammer.
Well, I think Leslie's doing Swamp first.
Leslie is doing Swamp first.
Do you want to really do Turtle Rock with the Fire Sword? Is the other issue. Because that's a whole lot of not fun.
It depends on how confident you are with the hammer, but you have plenty of money. You have blue pots. You have red mail. Like it depends on how comfortable you are with hammer versus Trinex, really.
If I had half magic, I would agree more.
You have 3 bottles.
It's still a very time-consuming way to go when there's other chests available. Namely, Swamp and rest of Pod.
I was more just speaking from a if you feel you're behind perspective. No, it looks like we did have all the items out of Palace of Darkness.
Okay, then. I just don't think if you're behind, you take a chance at putting yourself, like, unreachably behind. You never know that you don't know if you're behind. 87 minutes for Hammer. It was a really annoying item sequence, so both players have the same annoying item sequence to get there. I mean, what's the potential draw of doing Turtle Rock first? What are you going to gain, maybe?
I guess that's true. Considering that you would most likely have to go up there twice anyway.
The only thing I think of is if the flute happens to be in Turtle Rock, maybe you get a small advantage.
Right, because you need to go up to Death Mountain a second time anyway if the flute's there to begin with.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Vers asked, is Swamp one of the Fat Fairy crystals? I don't actually know. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So Swamp is probably the correct play, actually.
Right, because that does open up 2 additional items. And even if there's not progression, it's more of a chance at a sword upgrade, which will make Trinex manageable if you're not comfortable with Hammer. But with red mail and so many bottles, and there's plenty of money too, so you can pretty much just, even if you don't have that, just throw blue potions at Trinex until he dies.
You know what? They're both cleaning up Eastern Palace just in case they have to get their sword upgrade from the pedestal.
The thing is, though, wouldn't it be faster after you find the big key just to keep searching Ganon's tower for a sword upgrade?
In terms of the fact that you just finished up Palace of Darkness and you're at Eastern Palace and all you gotta do is walk up to that almost kill him. I mean, you're right. It's most likely being Ganon's tower. However, if it's not in Ganon's tower, you're just screwed.
The thing is, though, are there enough locations that they couldn't check for a sword upgrade?
How's he getting the hammer?
That was a shovel.
Shovel. What am I? Whoa. Morning, everybody.
But I'm pretty sure that once you actually have access to Ganon's tower in most seeds, there's not enough item locations that you could check. Well, we haven't had a mushroom yet.
Haven't had a mushroom, haven't had a magic bag, haven't had...
No powder. It'd be pretty unlikely. Because there's something like almost 20 items in Ganon's tower.
There are 22 locations, yep, and there's going to be a map. I think there's a compass and a big key. And a bunch of keys. A lot of keys.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly how many keys are in treasure chests in G Tower. The only time that knowledge is ever relevant is when you're in this kind of a situation where the last thing you need to complete the game is a sword upgrade, and Yume going into Ice Palace. So
this is an interesting play.
This is definitely an interesting play, and a play that you would make if you're feeling behind. Yume probably trying to do everything to stay out of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, but the swamp is still open for Yume. Why not go to the swamp first and get this 5/6 crystal?
And Leslie about to fight the DLC menu boss. So, rip Leslie's menu time.
Yeah, this is a rough one to do.
Leslie not at all concerned about taking damage with that red mail. And Yume is not lowering the blocks. Does Yume know the Ice Palace bomb jump?
No, I think Yume's gonna search the items.
Right, because there's not a ton of advantage to actually searching, or to actually doing the Ice Palace bomb jump if you're going to search for items anyway.
And you have the canister area.
The only advantage is then you wouldn't have to find the big key. And at that point, it really depends on how confident you are with the bomb jump. It's not easy to do. But even when you know what to do, it's just precise.
It's not the hardest setup in the game.
Okay, so from here we're in a position that is very good.
And Yume finding the key, so I like this play of going east early. I always want to see early key in Ice Palace. If you find a key in the first 2 chests, then that significantly reduces the amount of time that you'll spend in this dungeon. Because I've seen plenty of nightmare scenarios where the small key is in the big chest, and the required item that you need for that you came here for is in the bottom chest on the 5th floor. And we do have an ocarina in Ice Palace.
Oh, in Ice Palace.
Yes, we have an ocarina in Ice Palace. So depending on what the medallion is for Misery Mire, you may be in go mode.
Not without a sword. You cannot be Ganon with Fire Sword. Yume with that will probably take a very, very big lead at this point.
Yeah, I would be really happy to find that in there, and I would think that it would take. I would feel like I was ahead if I found that. But yes, you are correct. Yume is a sword upgrade away.
Yume can head straight down to the boss right now, but opting to go
Yume's
to the
looking
chest.
Yume's looking for a sword upgrade. And we do have a question in chat about if the last thing you're missing is a sword upgrade, do you go up GT assuming there's a sword there? Most of the time, yes, but you will definitely see runners want to check some locations while they're in the area just to confirm that there isn't a sword upgrade in the dungeon.
I think there's almost no harm in going up GTs. Actually, if you don't have very easy item locations next to you, just because you don't actually need the Master Sword to beat Ganon's tower, you only need to beat Ganon.
Yes, and once you actually clear the tower, getting back to Ganon is a piece of cake.
Yeah.
All you need to do is just save and quit anywhere in the Dark World, and you'll be right there.
That's not entirely true. You only get that warp when you beat Aga 1.
Right, Aga 1. I've been playing vanilla recently, so.
No, I've been picking it up now on my SNES Classic. Actually, I did a 100% run in like 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's not terrible.
That's a good time. That's a good time. I have yet to do 100%. I've only done NMG and low percent. Yume starting the Cold Stare fight. This can be a really scary fight. I do like the strategy of Yume burning the green goo here to make this fight not only faster but safer. Because even with red mail, it's very easy to die here. Because getting bodied by Cold Stare, even with red mail, will deal 2 hearts of damage. Yume's at half a heart, probably gonna burn what I believe is her last potion. And she doesn't have a lot of money either.
You may make sure taking care of cults there, however.
So I think if you're Yume, you go activate the flute and check the requirement for Meyer. Get your swag ducks ready, everyone. Yume immediately going to Meyer. You still check Meyer for a sword upgrade, or Meyer Shed for a sword upgrade here.
Absolutely. Well, you want to check checkerboard too. Meyer needs
It's ether, so double ether. So all we're missing is that sword upgrade.
Oh, some money for Yume at least. That's helpful.
So with Yume may check checkerboard afterward if she doesn't find a sword upgrade here. But I definitely think it's a good idea to hold off on checking Checkerboard Cave until afterward. It's just better routing. And Leslie is making the play on Ice Palace, so at this point, I would put Leslie at about a dungeon behind.
Yeah, this is gonna... Yumi's gonna have to make some pretty big mistakes to lose this at this point. Like, it's gonna have to take Yumi going crazy trying to find a sword when all the upgrades are in tower.
I guess that is true. We could see Yume full clear swamp looking for a sword upgrade. We know there's one not there. I think Yume is just banking on finding a sword upgrade in either T-Rock or G-Tower, which is a reasonable decision. Because typically you have to clear most of T-Rock anyway. Leslie not going for the bomb jump either.
No, they're both. I think they're both looking for swords.
I do like the Quake strats from Leslie here. Yume about to enter the Vitreous fight with plenty of silver arrows. With a beautiful zero-cycle fight.
Yep, and I think Yume will now head to Swamp.
Yume's going to checkerboard first, but after that it will almost assuredly be Swamp. Just a bundle of arrows in Checkerboard Cave. And Leslie does have the flute. But the big key was pretty easy to access, so the bomb jump won't actually wind up saving that much time in this case.
Yume is opting to do Desert Palace. Yume's going to get a sword upgrade through the pedestal.
Probably just wants insurance, just in case there is no sword upgrade in G Tower.
There also happens to be the fastest. Some of the fastest dungeons are the pendant dungeons.
That makes sense too. And depending on where the sword upgrades are, this may actually save Yume time. And depending on where the other two swords up there, it's entirely possible that this could be a pseudo-pedestal required seed, in that the other locations for the swords could be blocked behind items that are in Ganon's tower. Yume having a little bit of trouble taking down the Landmos with these silver arrows, gets it on the third cycle.
Yep. And we're literally going to have a vanilla Master Sword pull.
VTorp, are you sure this is randomized?
We're just going to do a little bit of potion shopping.
This is a good play because you have no half magic. You have you may expect to go into the Ganon fight with the Master Sword. You do have silvers, but running out of magic can be something that can happen during the Ganon fight, especially if you miss Torch Glitch, which is something that can happen. Leslie does have one backup fairy, but needs to be very careful with her health. Very easy for Cold Stare to just box you into a corner.
Does he have a potion or anything?
No, Leslie does not have a potion, so
For the fairy.
Leslie used that.
Jeez. Uh-oh.
Down to 1 heart.
None of them are dead already.
Cold Stare is a tough fight with just a Master Sword. Leslie now on half a heart,
Yeah,
so
one
the
hit
next
away.
bop. The next bop.
Oh, man, that was it.
Wow! Wow! Cold Stare wanted her.
And Cold Stare got her.
Oh! A valiant effort from Leslie. But she will be sent back to start and is going to opt to save and quit. Probably to get potions. And with that Master Sword from the Master Sword pedestal, I see Yume just going to Go Mode Swamp from here. No, we're not having a Go Mode Swamp. Yume may be looking for another sword upgrade. Or possibly powder? I could see Yume searching for powder as well. Because 11 hearts is not a lot. Even with red mail. But overall, Yume's play and routing have been very good. Leslie not terribly far behind, just not finding that flute in that nasty location.
Leslie did get the flute. Leslie just didn't beat Cold Stare.
Was more referring to Leslie just getting the flute.
Oh, yeah.
After Yume did.
Right,
But that death will definitely further widen the gap between the two. It's such a tough fight. But in either case, both of these runners have been putting on a wonderful show for us this afternoon and this evening, and please follow both of these runners.
Alright, Leslie heading into Misery Mire.
Yume about to finish up Swamp Palace, and we'll head up to Turtle Rock shortly after this. Lord Banana buried in a Swamp Palace. Certainly not what they wanted to see. So Yume's play to finish the pendant dungeons to get that Master Sword out of the Master Sword pedestal is going to wind up saving time in a Swamp Palace as well, and that could have factored into the decision to go to the pedestal to get a sword, because this fight takes a very long time without at least level 2 sword.
It's just in general easier to have a level 2 sword than a level 1 sword. This whole game.
Oh, absolutely. Considering the number of bosses that if you don't have a level 2 sword require spins. The Trinex is one of them, which is why you'll see people who don't have a Master Sword going into that fight are forced to use a hammer, and using a hammer on Trinex is not the easiest thing. Nice snipe by Yume, getting Argus with a silver arrow. That is not the easiest thing to do.
It's also incredibly dangerous to get that close to Trinex. Red mail or not, no red mail, the Trinex hits hard.
So Yume just playing beautifully this entire seed. She's going to be a force to watch out for in the brackets.
Yume's heading up the Turtle Rock at this point. Absolutely. So is there a way for Leslie to catch up here?
Leslie would need to gamble on getting a sword upgrade in G Tower, and would need to it would be pretty difficult, but Leslie would need to gamble on a sword upgrade in G Tower. Something like gamble on Tile Room, win, and then like have sword upgrade be Invalidation Chest or something. Something absurd.
That gamble's actually going away now too. Short of Yume totally collapsing.
So at the multiple Ganon falls.
Or a bad death halfway up Ganon's tower or something.
There's just too much time, because Leslie still has not completed still not completed Ice yet.
Nope.
So Yume's lead at this point is somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes, I would say. But we've definitely seen those kinds of leads evaporate before in the tournament. Nice cane dash from Yume, and we have Bombos in Turtle Rock.
That something goes horribly wrong in on the Ganon fight.
It's entirely possible. I've seen races where runners have fallen multiple times. In fact, I was in a tournament race where that happened.
But given Yume's other execution, I can't imagine.
Oh, Yume's fantastic at the game. Now I'm kind of curious if she has if she has a time in vanilla. I'm gonna go check.
I happen to have it open, so let me take a look. Now, there's no time in either Speedruns Live or speedruns.com for Yume Tsubasa.
I just checked that as well, and Leslie picking up the Master Sword as well.
Yep.
This is definitely the most interesting quote-unquote ped seed that I've seen in a long time.
Oh, this goes without saying, but I believe both Yume and Leslie are in Go mode.
Yes, both of them are now in Go mode. So we may see a bum jump from Leslie this time. And Yume at this point skipping chests because he has all the keys he needs. Thank you very much, chat, for correcting me on that, and I do need to apologize to him after the race. Not even checking Laser Room, he knows.
I mean, maybe you guess if there's a sort of upgrade there, but...
Well, he's either going to find one on the way to finding the big key, or he'll just do Master Sword Ganon. Which, given how he's been playing, he's got to be confident in his Master Sword Ganon.
Master Sword Ganon with Silvers is not the end of the world.
No, not at all. Just Fire Bat phase, mostly.
And with the cape, with Erna, you can take a couple of potions and you can kind of work your way that way.
Leslie, having a little bit of trouble with the bomb jump, decides to bail out of it. Yume needing to refill magic against Trinex.
Ooh, Yume taking a lot of damage. I don't know if Yume has a fairy or just a blue potion.
Yume bought 2 blues before coming here.
If Yume's not careful, he can get bodied, and the blue potions are not automatic.
Better get on the potion!
No,
half a heart!
Alright.
Clutches it out for now. That red head's still not down.
Oh, this is gonna be
Yume's got one more shot. One more shot. Has to make this count.
No,
and
have to pop his
Yume is... Oh, Yume does have one more blue.
No more money.
No more money, no more potions.
Yeah, so it's gonna be tough.
Yume does take the firehead down.
Gonna have to be a little careful here.
The lack of magic could actually be a concern going up G Tower as well.
Whoa. Alright, Yume gets him.
Master Sword Trinex with no half magic is always a super scary fight. So Yume with 7 crystals will be on the way into Ganon's Tower. There are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower. Which one will contain the big key? I will go with the one that I always go with, which is number 10.
And I will say, as I always say, first location. Number 1.
So depending on where this big key is, we may see some visits to some of the fairy rooms in Ganon's Tower. We do have a small key, so will he go right side? It looks like he is going to go right side.
Yes.
And with so many rooms in Ganon's Tower requiring Fire Rod, magic may be an issue.
A lot of magic refills in Ganon's Tower, however.
There are, but even so, it's very easy to just run out of magic at an inopportune time.
Oh, that hurts!
This is a very difficult room. Yume getting through it with just enough. He's out of magic.
He's gonna have to use bombs.
He's gonna need to use bombs.
And it's not the easiest place to use bombs in the world.
Oh, absolutely. It's very difficult. These Gibdos giving Yume a hard time.
He might just want to sit there and swipe away. There we go.
Need to be a little quicker than that. That's going to come up short, too. You have to throw that bomb immediately for the explosion to reach the crystal switch. Yes, you are correct. Silver arrows can one-shot Gibdos.
Oh, a short upgrade.
Tempered. Tempered. That's going to make the Ganon fight a lot easier. Because now you no longer have to use spins. And it looks like Bob will live.
So what chest number was that, then?
That was number 6.
6, right? Yeah.
For tempered. But the big key is still out there.
Right. That's what I meant. So that's... Counting Bob, this would be through 11 right now.
We'd be at 11, yes.
Firebar room.
Meanwhile, Leslie about to enter the Chain Chomp room in Turtle Rock. This is one of the scariest rooms in the game.
Especially if you're on like a green mail or something.
Anyone who's done low percent can tell you that.
Ooh.
That's probably the scariest room in the game under low percent conditions. So even a gamble of skipping right side won't work out for Leslie in G Tower, because then she will miss the sword upgrade. Yume about to go to the randomizer room.
I'm somewhat new to this community. Why is this called the randomizer room?
The reason why this is called the randomizer room is because the only reason you would ever go in here is because of randomizer.
Oh.
Very few people even knew this room existed until the randomizer.
I believe that was chest number 17 that had the big key.
Yes, that is correct. And the randomizer room in vanilla has 2 packs of 3 bombs and 2 packs of 10 arrows. And I have actually, one time I did go in there during a race of vanilla because I needed arrows.
With Yume having tempered, this race is for all intents and purposes over. I would say at this point, right?
I mean, there's very little that could happen at this point. With tempered silvers, Ganon is a very fast fight.
Even if you get the fall on the order of 4 or 5 times.
This mimic room giving
the mimic room forever.
This mimic room is giving Yume a lot of trouble. Finally gets out. Leslie having trouble in the cane platform room, out of magic too.
It means you have to get. No, you can't get it this time. Oh, you can.
And Yume is taking the safety fairies. This is a good play.
Absolutely.
Because you have no backup going into Ganon. It doesn't take long to do, and this has been a trolley seed, so right at about the 2-hour 4-minute mark to go into there, that means that Yume probably isn't feeling time pressure right now. Time for Gauntlet. Great second room.
Here's the hard room. Sometimes these blue guys just decide that I'm running to the other corner of the room and you can't stop me.
That's actually one of the reasons I really prefer Fire Rod for that room if I have half magic, but in this case, half magic is probably behind Armos 2 or some other location that the runners will not access.
What do you think? Some validation chests?
Powder.
Powder? Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a great place for that? Corner turret giving Yume a bit of trouble against the Landmo 2. Yume's got to be careful, he's running low on arrows.
Yeah, he's only got 5 left. He does have a no, he doesn't have any more mimics to fight, right?
He does not have any more mimic. Oh, passing up on the arrow pickup in that room. Underneath one of those pots, there's a bundle of 5 arrows that you'll see runners pick up if they're very low on arrows. That's another thing that could happen during the Ganon fight is if Yume does miss with a silver arrow, and I have seen it happen, then then at that point, it really depends on how comfortable Yume is with silverless. Because at that point, if you run out of silver arrows, you just transition to silverless strats.
And this is my least favorite room in all of Link to the Past.
Oh, this room.
It's not even that. It's not. I don't even think it's the hardest room. It's just gives me fits.
Oh, absolutely. Have you ever had to do that room without boots?
Yep. It's not a good time.
Oh, not at all. I haven't had to do it with no boots and no fire rod before, though. It's possible. There are configurations where the fire rod is not required.
And go.
This room can be tricky as well, getting that bomb to be in the right place.
In this very tournament, I have walked up Gan's tower without having keys.
Oh, that's easy to forget.
And that's pain. Mushroom.
There's the mushroom.
Yep, quick work from World War II.
Alright, what's in Validation Chest? Just an arrow upgrade. Where is this half magic?
But it might be on the laser bridge. It might be
That could
at
be there
the
too,
witch. Might be on Mad Batter.
But,
And the witch gives you the powder.
Leslie starting Ganon's tower. Great job to both of the... Great job to the way these runners have just kept going through this seed. This has been an incredibly difficult seed. It's had almost everything you don't want to see in a Link to the Past randomizer. Great double, great work from Yume in general during the Aga 2 fight. So Yume will be heading into Ganon with, I would say at this point, about a 10-minute lead. Leslie running low on arrows too.
Yume going straight in.
With 8 hearts and 1 fairy, and this time counting up close to 210, you may think that Yume is under a bit of time pressure.
He may also just be very confident in his Ganon. Oh, but... Alright, there's your fairy.
There's the backup. This is all the health that Yume is going to have.
He can't use a magic cape or anything because he has no magic generation. Use it for one. No, it didn't work.
He had the hook shot up. Oh, he's through Fire Bat phase. The rest of this, the only thing that will stop Yume at this point will be either a fall or getting Hyrule Drivered, because Yume is at 3 hearts, and Ganon with Red Mail, if he does body you, will do 3 hearts of damage.
He can also run out of magic. It would be hard to imagine if he doesn't get Torch Glitch and is very careless with Fire Rod.
Ganon trolling Yume with the teleports.
It's Torch Glitch.
He almost missed it.
It's the double. And this should do it.
And the pig is down, so Yume will take this race and sweep his group. With a 4-0 performance in the group stage, he will be a force to watch out for in the brackets.
Yume will have the top seed of this group. He will
And
play
Yume has
seed.
finished. Yume has finished with an SRL time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, 53 seconds. Well done. And Leslie about to go up Ganon's tower. And Yume already sending some fighting words to DT. Apparently calling for the ban of DT from generating seeds.
After this seed, I don't know if I can argue with him.
Hey, I'm banned from generating seeds with my group too. So we will see if we can get Yume in here. Meanwhile, Leslie, not too far from Gauntlet. And another noteworthy thing right now is Leslie is out of arrows. Does pick up some from the lower right pot and Gauntlet.
There's another pot coming up too.
It looks like we will get an interview, but in a few minutes. Looks like Yume does need to take care of some personal business. So what we may do, depending on how long it takes him to return, is we may wait for Leslie to finish and then bring them both in. Leslie going with the Fire Rod against Lanmo 2 to conserve those arrows. Oh, Leslie just missing the one cycle Wizrobe 2 room. That's one of the coolest looking rooms in the game when it's done right.
When this race is over, don't go anywhere. We have another race right here on Randomizer Mania 2. Starting at 8 o'clock, we have...
That's the Lightyear Adirondack Rick race.
Yes, Lightyear versus Adirondack Rick. As well, at 9 p.m., there will be a quad race on Randomizer Mania 1 involving Quastin, Jetab, Molly, and Kekuman Shoyu. And for our main tournament, possibly going on right now, and for H finishing up FW Brunel on Speed Gaming 2. So we'll do an interview if we have time, but there is another race going on here at 8 p.m. Looking at the streaming schedule for the week, Tuesday at 1 p.m. we'll have Malagord and Duke Firebird on Randomizer Mania 1. On Wednesday, the Panda will take on a 3-way race for all the marbles. It is a tiebreaker race for Group A-B. The Panda 1016, Aaron Doby, and Lou Dolphin, Wednesday, October 25th at 8:30 p.m.
That tiebreaker race is going to be an amazing watch. And it looks like we do have Yume in the booth with us. Congratulations on your win, especially on just an incredibly difficult seed. This is one of the most difficult seeds that I have seen in a long time.
Yeah, thanks. It's still better than Fighter Sword Vitreous without bow, without hammer, because hammer was locked at Fat Fairy behind Vitreous. Thanks, DT! That is why I actually wrote ban DT from generating seeds. I had 2 DT seeds. The first took me like 2 hours 42. This one 210. Oh, this was a mess, seriously. Having to get Hookshot to get Fire Rod to defeat Mothula, to get the Cape, to get the Hammer. My god, that was one heck of a fetch quest style thing.
No kidding, but you played really well. I didn't see very many mistakes from you in general, and Leslie is starting the Ganon fight.
Yeah, I see that.
So that
yes.
that decision to actually get the Master Sword that was at the pedestal, great job, Vtorp.
Yeah, I mean, I checked it. I was like, okay, it is a sword upgrade. If I don't have a sword upgrade by the time that I can finish all of the dungeons, and I feel really uncomfortable about going into the last few dungeons with just the fire sword. I decided, okay, I just have to do. Well, I had to finish Skullwoods anyways. Then I was in pod and was like, okay, there is still an item at Armos Knights, so let's do that real quick. And then after finishing Myra, I was like, okay, well, seems there is no other sword upgrade, so let's grab this just to be safe and not having to double dip G Tower. Because I've seen that happen. I don't know if it was in the main tourney or in the overflow, but it happened already, so...
Leslie Pro, by the way, having a very good Ganon fight. She's about to wrap up right about now.
Oh, absolutely. He played pretty well towards the end of the race. Closed the gap a lot faster than I thought he would. Just had a lot of trouble with some of the nasty combat situations that the game put you through. And Leslie finishing with an SRL time of 2 hours, 19 minutes, 4 seconds. Well done to both of these runners for sticking out this seed. I just can't stress enough the difficulty of the seed.
Yeah, this was certainly on a different level. God damn it. Sorry for language.
That's okay. I don't blame you after that one. We've all played those seeds where the game just will not give you a sword. I've seen matches in this tournament where the first sword has been at almost 100 minutes.
Okay, the worst I had in the tournament was like at 58 minutes, if I remember correctly. But yeah, there was nothing else to work with except for the sword in that seed.
And we do have Leslie in the booth as well. Congratulations on finishing the seed. You should not be ashamed of that time, especially on a seed with as much difficult combat as there was.
Yeah, that was certainly a combat seed, no doubt about it, which is precisely why after dying to colds there, I went into Mire, cleared that, finished Desert, and pull Pedestal because I had a hunch there was a sword there, and I was right. And then I'm thinking to myself, Wait a minute. Isn't that supposed to be randomized?
That's what we were both saying, that VTorp didn't do his job because the Master Sword was at the Master Sword pedestal.
Yeah, that
Wait,
was certainly one of the hard. In terms of combat, that seed was brutal.
Oh, absolutely, and it really goes to show how much even just doing a quote unquote casual playthrough of vanilla low percent will help your prowess with the randomizer.
Yeah, that's certainly something that's going to be kept in mind, and I'm probably going to try something like that going forward. I'm not sure when yet, because, well, this is my only day off this week, to be honest, and that's something I want a day off for.
Oh, absolutely. Depending on how comfortable you are with some of the later dungeons, even finishing low percent can take upwards of 3 hours.
Oh, I believe it, because Fighter Sword Cold Stare, that just messed me up. You guys saw it. I have no excuses for that. That was just rough, and I just could not overcome. And of course, I'm thinking, yes, got one. Nope, death. We're coming back.
You certainly gave it a valiant effort, though.
Yeah, give it your all, and if it's not enough, it's not enough.
So with that loss, that does move you down to 1-3. So this will be your last match for this tournament. Do you have any closing words before you exit the tournament, Leslie?
Yes, I actually do. This was an excellent experience for me, because not only did I get to see where I was at gameplay-wise, I got to hang with some absolutely fantastic people, and I could not have asked for a better group to be a part of, because everybody in my group has been absolutely fantastic. Everybody in Group AA, give them a follow. They absolutely have earned it.
Oh, there
They
were
are
some
all fantastic individuals.
there were some amazing races in your group, absolutely. And now, Yume, this win does put you through to 4-0, so you will be with all of the 4-0 players close to the top of the bracket. So how do you feel about your chances of going deep into this tournament?
Seriously, I don't know. I will have a relatively high seed because I actually had 2 forfeits from my opponents in the matches, so I guess my score will be relatively high and one of the top 10 seeds or so, but that is certainly not where I'm standing in this tournament, or at least that is how I feel. Nonetheless, I will try to do my best and, get as far as possible. If I get, like, in the top 16 or so, I'm more than happy, but just getting through group stages, a big thing for myself, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. The competition, even in secondary tournament, is going to be very hot. There are a lot of big names in the secondary tournament. Samurai Man, Tex, Super Scooge is in secondary. Rick is in secondary. There are a lot of big names in this tournament, and
Absolutely.
I do wish you the best of luck in the bracket rounds.
Absolutely, as do I.
Thanks, guys.
Right.
I will need it, I guess.
Best of luck, guys. If you're still on this channel, please remember to follow the runners. We'll post that right up in the chat now. Twitch.tv/LesliePro_4 and Twitch.tv/YumeTsubasaCH as well. Please be sure to thank our excellent tracker, Karaoke. I hope I'm saying that right. Follow him, Twitch.tv Karaoke, our restreamer, Felix0, the Zero Cat. Check him out, Twitch.tv/Felix0, the Zero Cat. My co-commentator, Raiko Ryder, Twitch.tv/Raiko Ryder. I commentated for your last match.
Yes, you did.
And if you want, I guess you can follow me, Twitch.tv/ReallyDragonPlays. I pretty much just do this.
And don't go anywhere. We do have some more matches coming up, not only on this channel, but throughout our network of Randomizer Mania channels.
Yep, in a half an hour, there will be another race on this very channel, so stay tuned.